This is my World Championship gold medal match against Paul Creighton. Paul Creighton is a Jiu-Jitsu fighter trained by Renzo Gracie, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu specialist, and he was also a college wrestler, undefeated in over 50 matches. So this was a tough test for me at the end of a very long day. I had been watching him throughout the day. He'd won a lot of his matches quickly by submission, and I knew that if I made it to the finals, this would be the guy that I had to beat. And I didn't know he was trained by Renzo Gracie at the time, and that was probably good because it would have got in my head a little bit. So, but I knew he was good. I had fought 3 or 4 matches, I think, before this. Earlier in the day, and had broken my knuckles in an earlier match against an opponent from New Zealand. He had a hard head. You can see Paul definitely has strong takedown ability. So I had to sprawl really hard. So it's difficult, but ultimately necessary for me to keep the fight, you know, on the feet and do what I do best as a kickboxer. I had a chance at the end of round 1 when I had taken his back. I was later told he'd never had his back taken before, so I was glad to oblige him of that the first time. I got him in rear naked choke, and it was completely closed, and if I would have had 5-6 more seconds, he definitely would have been choked. At the end of round 1, I was leading on the judges' scorecards. So I knew that he would be bringing the fight to me in round 2, so that I would need to avoid, you know, the takedown, keep it on the feet, and outscore him standing up. And if we did go to the ground, I would make sure that I would score, stay even, and stay ahead on the judges' scorecards. He went for an arm lock, and he had it. My arm was locked out. I escaped by rotating my body around. This is a submission escape that I preach quite highly about now, as it saved me from certain defeat at that time. You can see he wants to go to the ground very badly, and every time we clinch, every time we go to the ground, I punch him to the body so that I can score 1 more point. The takedowns in sport jiu-jitsu, depending on the severity of them, big takedowns are worth 3 points, and I wasn't going to allow any 3-point takedowns, so any takedowns he was going to score that I might give up would be a 1-point takedown, which you can negate that by scoring 1 point back, punching to the body. So while going to the ground is great if you can finish the person off, if the submission defense is good, as I'd like to think that mine is, then going to the ground really just runs the clock out on yourself. So at the end of round 2, I'm thinking I've definitely won because I scored more than I scored in the first round, and I was ahead in the first round. But sometimes judges' decisions you don't know. So they decide that in fact it's a draw, and we're forced to do overtime, which was challenging. If you just watch the tape and you don't know what happened that day, you might think, well, why are these guys so tired? But we had begun fighting our preliminary matches at 10 or 11 o'clock in the morning. This fight was actually taking place at 11 o'clock at night. So this is 12 hours later, and we both had, 4 matches earlier in the day, and we're getting a little tired. So neither one of us wants to make a mistake. And we're a little bit tentative, but we open it up eventually. A little bit. I'm still working my strikes, still scoring every time we clinch, and he's still trying to take me down. At the end, of course, I know the towel's thrown in, but I always like to throw a flurry. I didn't hit him, as you can see, because I'm a sportsman. So at the end of the overtime round, the judges declare that it is once again a draw. So under the ISJA rules, they decide to add up the clickers. Each judge is holding 2 clickers, one for the fighter designated as white and one for the fighter designated as red. So what they do is actually add up the score of every single clicker, and he with the most clicks wins in this case. And as it turns out, I was the one with the most clicks. So it was a good day for me. In the end, it was a hard-fought match. I believe that probably some of the judges had a bit of a bias, as the American team was the team to beat, and were really dominating the sport, and no one had beaten them. So I think that maybe there was some reluctance. That the Canadian coaches were pretty happy, even though I wasn't officially on the team at the time. I was a walk-on. I was on the team the next time. It was a little easier making the team. So at the end, as the medals are being awarded, Professor Wally J, who is sort of the grandfather of where my jiu-jitsu comes from, Professor Wally J was there, which was really exciting. He had almost died. He'd been hospitalized for months earlier that year, and it looked as though jiu-jitsu might lose one of its great and honorable instructors. But as luck would have it, Wally J survived, and I was fortunate enough to meet him and receive my gold medal from him.